Welcome to Cougan's Corner. Today I'm going to be giving you some tips about college. Now this will apply to our younger folks, but there's still some people that's old like me that go back to college. And I believe these tips will help your experience be better. First of all, I would recommend that you ask around. Whenever you have a certain class you're taking, whether it's history or art or whatever, ask around which instructor they recommend. Because what you'll find is that some instructors think that their class is the most important class that ever existed, and they will just pile on the homework and assignments that will just keep you busy. It's all it is just a bunch of busy work. Personally, I don't have time to just constantly write papers for no reason. Now, I'm not suggesting that you be lazy, not at all, but you can be smart about this and you can pick teachers to the best of your ability that you know that they're just going to teach you the subject and they're not going to pile on all of this extra work. I had that happen in an intro class that I have. In fact, I'm in that class right now, and the professor just seems to think that it's the most important subject that there is. And so if you can, avoid those kind of classes. And again, you can do that by asking people face-to-face or get online, Facebook, wherever, and find where people that go to that college and ask them information. It will save you a lot of headaches. Tip number 2, make sure that you sign up for all the grants that are out there. You may think that you won't qualify, but you might be surprised at how many things you will qualify for. Ask around, because the people at the college don't always have all the information that you need. Some of the fellow students may have found some other program or something that gives you extra money to help you during college time, and you're going to need all the help that you can get. Also, don't forget to use your student discount. Even though your local area that you're at may not have a lot of discounts for college students, a lot of things online do. Whenever you look at cell phones or whether you're talking about other products, a lot of times they'll have a pretty good discount for college students. A lot of the video services, Hulu, and also Amazon, they all offer discounts for being a college student. So use that to your advantage. And also, most colleges, I don't know of any that don't do this, but you can usually get Microsoft Office free. And you can have it up to 5 different people just for being a college student. So be sure and take advantage of all the things, all the perks that are offered with being a college student. Tip number 3, make sure you have a good working computer that you can use. Talked about that in the video, the Surface Pro and versus the iPad. Of course, you might want to use a MacBook, whichever. I found that usually at a lot of colleges, just to see what they use there mainly, some are all into Apple, but some are all into the PC side. And so you want to make sure you get something that's going to work well with that particular college. And you need a good backpack, and I did a review of a backpack that I think is the best one, or at least the best one for me. Our next tip is don't ever buy a new book from the college bookstore. Now, they won't like me saying that, but they overcharge for their books. And you don't need to buy brand new books. If you can get a hold of the instructor and you know who it is, you can email them, you can make sure that the book that you're looking at will work. Because a lot of times you can get a previous version, and the only difference between like version 8 and version 9 is they've added a few more pictures or they've taken a few things out, but the material is almost exactly the same. And whenever you can go down to a lower version, instead of paying $150 for a book, sometimes you can get it for $25. And if it is a brand new book that's come out and you have to use that, then certainly get on Amazon or look at a place that you might be able to rent the book, because it'll save you a ton of money. And whenever it comes time to sell back one of those new books, if you happen to buy that from the college bookstore, you will be shocked at how little money they'll give you back for your book, no matter how good a shape that it's in. My next tip is make sure that you get classes that are live taught. Now, I know there's a trend where people like to do on these online classes, but I'm telling you, at least from my perspective, I've had one online class. I know that doesn't qualify me to be an expert, but I've talked to other people that have taken online classes, and they all have the same message, is that they just pile on a lot of busy work. They've got a certain amount of stuff for you to do. They don't care whether you're behind or ahead or anything like that. They can't judge those things. And so you get what you get on an online class. And it's hard to be able to converse with your instructor. You never see them. You're just some number on the other side of the screen that they can't see or talk to, and they're handing out grades to you. And while I know it's convenient to take online classes, I would personally recommend taking them in class, because when you're in class, at least you get to be around other people. You can talk with them, and you can set up study groups, and you can also, if you have a question, you can ask the instructor right then and there. And if the instructor is getting behind in what they're doing, sometimes they'll skip a lesson and you're not having to do as much. And so I really prefer the live talk classes. Now this next tip is an important one. If you happen to be someone that is using an online book, make sure you use that to its full extent. Now if you're using a program, I know there's lots of different ones out there, but they're using the one called MindTap. What I notice is on a PC, what they do is they only allow you to see part of a page each time. And so you can't search. You can't do very good at trying to look up information in the whole book. But one thing you can do to get around that, especially if you're having to do some sort of online lookup, is you can take and copy and paste all of those pages into Microsoft Word, and then you can fully search that entire chapter, the entire book. Yes, it takes a little bit of effort to do all that copying and pasting, but whenever you're taking a open book time quiz, or if you're trying to find something really quick, a key word or a key phrase for some homework assignment that you're having, to be able to find or do the search within Microsoft Word, and it brings up every time that particular word comes up, it allows you to get your work done faster and allows you to find that answer that you're looking for. Sometimes that you might spend, if you were just flipping through a book, it might take you an hour to find that answer because there's some obscure sentence in that one area. So be sure and utilize that feature as well. Now MindTap, I will say this, the app they have for the phone, it actually puts the whole page on the same screen. And so if you do have the app for that, you can actually do a search of the entire chapter on your phone. So keep that in mind. My final tip is this. Make sure that you go to your classes and don't skip out on them. I know it's easy to do that, especially if you have a teacher that's not really keeping that close account on how much you're there and how much you're not. But whenever you miss out on class, you can miss out on important information that you might need to be able to make good grades. Now, if you're not worried about making good grades, then miss all you want to. That's up to you. But I have found it to be very helpful to always be there if I possibly can. Hope you found these tips helpful. I'm going to give you some tips on how to study and to be able to prepare to make an A on your paper, but I'll do that in another video. So if you found this helpful, why don't you subscribe or hit that notification bell, and then you'll be able to know when other videos come out. I'd like to hear from you. What tips would you give that you would add that I didn't give to those people that are going to college?